এখন চার্জিং আছে। Can you guys hear me? Okay, okay, great. So, have you guys seen me before? 3 hours or anything? Okay, there's one guy. So, my name is Aaron Joy, and I'm one of your. Is it? Shoot. Okay, that loud enough? Okay, so I'm Aranjoy and I'm one of your TAs, so I'll be taking one of the lectures today. And just give us like 1 or 2 minutes to set this thing up. For some reason it's not connecting. Any of you guys have a thumb drive, by the way? Oh, thank you. So, good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, it's 12:30, so it's definitely afternoon. So, just to reiterate, my name is Arjun Basat. You might know me as I'm the TA for this course, and I'll be taking a lecture today on. Okay, that's a heavy title right there, Power of Python. But I couldn't come up with anything better, so I'm just gonna go ahead and start up. So, what have we looked at so far? So, I'm just going to go over some of the stuff that we've looked at so far. This lecture is going to be a bit different. So, what we've looked at so far is we've looked at the Python programming language, and how to write programs using Python. Okay, anybody and everybody who's done the homeworks and the projects would know how to write a program in Python. Okay, now. And as well as how can you handle different types of data. You know that Python deals with integers, with floats, with characters, with strings, lists, etc. So you know how to handle different kinds of data. You use that already. As well as files, and all kinds of files. Text files, CSV files, and so on and so forth. As well as some of the different structures in programs, in Python programs, such as loops, conditionals, functions, etc. We've all written functions. We have used conditionals, and by conditionals I mean if-else statements. If, else, elif. Okay, everybody knows that here? Just a show of hands will be fine. Okay, great. And, okay, who here hasn't written a loop? Nobody. Okay, that's a good sign. So, moving on. So, but what will we be looking at today? We'll be looking at, well, we've only looked at the elements of programming Python so far, but it's a whole lot more than that. Trust me, it is. I've used Python for 3 years, a bit more than 3 years actually, and I know how huge it can be. So it's not just the language itself. Python itself provides a huge environment. It's an ecosystem, okay? You don't just program in Python. You can solve problems in Python. You can extend Python. You can write modules that other people are going to use to write their own programs in Python. You're going to use what modules other people have written in Python in your own problems. So that's how powerful Python can be, and I'm going to show these to you guys. Other than that, Python itself is pretty powerful as well. It's not just the ecosystem. The language that Python is, it provides a huge number of abstractions that I'm going to get into as well. I mean, we've looked at lists as well, and you guys will probably be looking at tuples, you'll be looking at dictionaries, but Python provides a whole lot of different abstractions, powerful, ways to represent things in a compact way, and that's a great thing because that makes Python pretty powerful. You can write huge stuff in a few lines of code. So, okay, if that went over, I'm just gonna make this a bit more interesting. In 3, 2, 1. So far we've talked about what Python is, and I'll let Will Smith do the talking here, right, guys? And now I'm going to show you why Python is useful. And therefore, how powerful Python can be. Okay, probably a bit too soon for the Star Wars memes, but we'll be looking at it, trust me. Okay, first things first, there is one thing that you guys have probably looked at, but you have not probably used it. It's a Python shell. Anybody here know what that is? Yep. Okay, go ahead. Yeah. So Python shell, to put it in a very basic way, you're actually dealing with the interpreter that actually, turns your program into an executable thing. Okay, way over the top. You can think of it as like a virtual scratchpad in which you can develop your program directly. Imagine writing your program and running it one line at a time. That's what Python shell helps you to do. So, other than that, it's not just a virtual scratchpad. It's, your new best friend. It is your new best friend, especially when you're doing Python, when you're writing a program in Python, because it provides an online help. So if you're stuck with any part, if you can't understand what a function does, what a particular data type is, the shell is there to help you. As well as it provides you documentation. It helps you with bookkeeping for different variables, function names, module elements. By bookkeeping, I mean it helps you to keep track of the different names that you've used so far. Names for variables, functions. So you don't end up using the same name for a bunch of things. Or at least you know what something is called. So just in a brief nutshell, the Python interpreter, it's like a tiny program itself, which reads your .py files, turns it into something that the machine can understand and run it. How does it do that? It turns each line of the Python code into executable code, essentially. So you just pass one line of code. So what happens essentially is like you pass one line of code to the interpreter at a time, and the interpreter turns it into something that the computer can understand. Performs a task, returns the results to you, and so on and so forth. So working with the Python shell essentially means you're working directly with the interpreter. You're passing one line at a time. You type it out, you pass it to the shell, and then you get it to execute that. But it's not just that. The Python shell lets you keep track of the lines of code you've written so far. Like I said, you're developing your code one line at a time. So you want it to keep track of it. So any variables you create, any values assigned to these variables, any lists, dictionaries, I'll get to in a minute to what dictionaries are. That's there in the memory. So you essentially have like the working portion of the code. So if you're writing 10 lines of code, you write one line of code, it's there. You write 2 lines of code, you have the program written up to the second line. 3 lines of code, you have the entire program up to the 3rd line in the memory. So you can just go on from there, so on and so forth. So yeah, I always thought that Song by Police was a bit creepy, but the Python shell isn't as creepy as that. It doesn't keep track of every breath you take or every move you make. Okay, the online help. So the Python shell, I've talked about this before, and I'm just going to show it to you in a minute. So what the online help does is that you imagine something like this. You're stuck with a function. You don't know what that function does or how it works. You want to know what type of variable is, as in what kind of a value that variable stores. And pretty much stuff like this. You're stuck with a particular part of the code that you can't understand. You just pass it. There is one command in the Python shell that helps you to do exactly that. Python tells you, okay, this is an integer type, this is a string type. You want to know what the split function does? Just ask me and I'll tell you what it is. Anybody want to take a guess what that command is? Go ahead, just take a shot. Okay, I'll go easy. It's the help command. There's a help function that actually does that for you. And I'm going to show that to you guys. So, and I'm going to demo these right now. So, okay, how do you pull this thing up? Okay, this is weird. Okay. So anyway, I'm just going to give you a live demo of what I just said so far, how you can actually use the Python shell to do something like that. And I'll actually make it better. I'm going to write an entire program right in front of you. I'm not going to use the Python editor. I'm going to do it entirely using the Python shell so that you guys can see how this thing actually works. As soon as I can get this thing to work. Just give me a second, guys. Sorry. Idle. Oh, okay. Okay, here it is.
I am putting up an in-class assignment, which is just you submitting your first homework or submit something to it. So for those of you that aren't here that left, it's just up there now. I'm waiting just till right now because that's That's just that person I am. So we pay attention to the rest of the lecture, but
Okay, so what is this program going to be? Okay, so live demo time. What could possibly go wrong, right? As soon as this thing works. If it doesn't, well, shame on me. Nevertheless, there's actually text. There's actually text from that as the problem.
make this small again, and you can open you want to open a text file?
There was a text file here. I just wanted to find it right now. Okay, never mind. So I'll just tell you guys what the problem is. I'll just tell you guys what it is that I'm going to do for you guys. So here's the problem statement. Make sense? So that's essentially the program that I'm going to write right in front of you guys. I'm just going to develop this right from scratch. I'm going to show you how, like, this can essentially, like, what's the word for it? How this can actually help you to, you know, develop a program. How you can use the Python shell to develop on the fly. So first things first, let's take an input from the user. Let's take the file as input from the user. So, oops, that's something. Okay, I'm just going to enter. Okay, another variable. Okay, no problem. With that problem. How can I set up the paths to this one? Oh, can I use a terminal?
I mean, if I close everything out,
That's amazing.
this puts you in.
Can I run the Python shell from here? Can I run Python from here? Okay. Okay. Yeah. So, slight change of plans. You can do this easily in idle as well, but I'm just going to be using the terminal. So that's essentially like a less, it's not as decorative as the Python shell in idle, but it does the same thing. So I'm just gonna, let's try that. Okay, so starting up again. Okay, so now this was pretty obvious, but say we kind of lose track and we want to know again, like what's the type of value that's in the file name. So we just check the type command. The type command tells you exactly what kind of value there is in that variable. Okay. Okay, now let's open up this file. Okay, what's the type of thing? I extract. So just bottom line, that's actually pointing to the file. So don't really bother about it. Now the rest of the file is going to have like a bunch of names and grades. In fact, if I could, I'd actually open up the okay. So this is essentially the file that I'm going to be working on. It's a bunch of grades, you can see a bunch of names, and grades out of 100. The first line itself, that doesn't have a grade. That has, a bunch of strings. The first name, the last name, and the grades. So that's going to give me an error if I try to process that. So I want to take that out first. So okay. So I'm going to take out headers first. Okay, so headers, that's what headers is. So in Python shell, if you at any point you want to know what's the value in a particular variable, you just type that variable out and it's going to show that value right to you. And at any point, just keep track of that one. Okay, guys? Okay, so now I want to move out the entire data into a file. Entire data in the file to a variable. Kind of like this. Okay, so should I actually open side and see what's in there? I mean, you know what's in there already, it's going to be this. But maybe not. Okay, now time to close up the file. I don't need that anymore. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to separate out the names and the grades, in a separate list. So we've looked at names before. We've looked at lists before. So I'm just going to create an empty list. I'm just going to initialize this thing first. I'm going to create another list that should store the grades. And I'm just going to separately create these ones. Okay? So change this to the .tam, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's our going to do? So the first thing we're going to do, well, we've already done this. Open file. Read data. And close file. Now, what do we want to do? We want to actually transform the grades, right? Now, so far what we have is like, now if we want to go over the file each, like line by line, each line has the strings and the numbers. We just want the numbers right here, man. We don't want the strings. The strings can be separate. So we obviously want to separate out the numbers and the strings into separate lists. So what we're going to do is something like so I'm essentially going to set up something like a loop. So it's going to go over like read each line, then it's going to be can you guys read, by the way? I mean, for some reason my handwriting is awfully bad today, but can you guys read this?
Yeah.
Split to names and grades. So you're gonna have like a name, grade, that kind of thing. Okay. Makes sense, right? You want to separate out the names and the grades first before you actually curve them. So that is exactly what I'm going to do here. So here we go. So essentially what I'm going to get is I'm going to get a bunch of now if we go back, we see that the first line, like every line, essentially has like the last name, the first name, and then the grade separated by commas. So line.split, splitting using commas, is essentially going to give me a list of 3 items. I'm just getting those into N1, N2, and G. Okay, then everybody know what the append function does? That's a function that like adds an element to the end of a list. Well, plus doesn't usually do that. You can use plus for adding lists together, but this one actually appends an item to the end of that. What I'm going to do here, however, I'm going to add another list inside name. So I'm going to have a list, kind of something like a list that has like the last name, last name and the first name, just those two. And that's going to add the grades, like turn the grade G into an integer and add that to the end of grades. So that seems to be okay. That seems to be running fine. So what's a name underscore data? What's the type of name underscore data, by the way? It's a list. And how did I know that maybe the list allows me to do operations like append? Lo and behold. What do you think this should do? Okay, let's just open this up. It gives you a list of everything that you can actually do. Just ignore the ones that have like the underscores. This gives me a bunch of other stuff that you can do with it. For example, append. And it gives you like clear descriptions of what you can actually do with this. Then there's clear, removing all items from the list. Copying, counting, extending, giving back, you get back the item that's at a particular index. Insert, popping that like just like removes the item at a particular index. Removing that also does kind of the same thing, just offers currents and so on and so forth. So that's exactly what it does. You just type help, whatever you want it to do, or say how about this, str.split. Okay. And that will give you the details for how the function works, how the split function works, for example. That's how the help function works anyway. So moving on. Now the kind of curving that I'm actually going to do is actually this. So it's like, if you have a grade G, I'm going to turn it into 100 times G divided by H. So where H is like the maximum of all the grades. So like the maximum grade becomes 100 and all the other grades are just kind of transformed to reflect that change in scale. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'll just change the formula once though. Yep. The formula is okay. So what do you want to do now? For each grade. So add 100 star grade by highest to curved grade. So I'm going to have a separate list called curved grade, and I'm going to add 100 times, well, you saw what this is. I'm just going to add that to the end of that name list. So that I have the curved grade. And I'm going to keep doing this. This, by the way, represents something like a loop. It's like a logical way to actually, kind of draw a program before you actually write it out. So you can turn this into a loop, this like into a bunch of statements inside the loop, this entire thing into a loop, and so on and so forth. So, moving on. This is also one of the reasons why I separated out the names and the grades first, because I can take a max over the grades, but I can't take a max over the names as such. So now I told you guys about the list called curved data, so I'll have to initialize it first. And now we'll be looking at the loop that actually goes over the grades and adds them, after curving them. So for grade A. So what that does is that should work, hopefully. Okay? Now to check whether this actually worked, I showed you guys what the formula is. So you take the highest grade, you make that 100, and you change everything else to reflect that. So in order to check that my program actually worked, I could just, so what could I check? I just need to check that the loop. So what's max grade? By the way, this gives me the largest item in a list, or any sequence for that matter, but in this case a list. So 85 was my largest. What's max after I curved them? It's 100. Okay, perfect. Just what I needed. Okay. Now, so I have the curved data, I have the curved grades, I have the names. I just need to write this to a new file. So if you guys have noticed till now, I essentially have my entire program ready. I opened up the file, I read the data from the file, I separated out the names and the grades, I curved the grades. So that's done. So essentially till now I have every single line in the program that I needed to do. So, I mean, think about it. I opened the file right here. Took the file name, opened the file, read it, and took the name data, the grades data, separated out the grades right over here, and curved the grades right here using the formula. So now the only thing I have to do is write the resultant data to a file, because otherwise the data gets destroyed. So I'm essentially going to do something a bit dumb. I'm just going to go like index by index and add the name and the grade corresponding to that index to my resultant file. And I'm going to speed this up a bit. And I'm going to change the file name too. So what do you think this line does? Just this part. What do you think this does? A little response would be really great, guys. Yes, other than that. Just, okay, forget the CSV file, just the string. What do you think this is? Yep. Okay, kind of close. Okay, what this does is that so file name has like a file name, dot, and then an extension. I'm just taking out the extension, taking the file name, adding like a mod 1 to the beginning of the file name, and saving it as a CSV file. So that's essentially what I'm doing. My original file was grades.csv, and I'm saving it as a CSV again. I'm just taking it, turning it into like mod1 dash grades.csv. That's how I'm saving it. Okay. Now comes the tedious part. I'm just gonna write this to the file. See? It just tells you right there. I don't have a file, a variable called name. What I do have is named data. And I just corrected it. I mean, you guys may have come across this before. If it's undefined, it's going to give you that error. So, okay, now what? Oh, okay. So that should work. And so I said that name data contains the names. Why did I have to do like, I could have just done name data I and printed that out. Why did I need to do name data I0 and name data I1? Anybody? It has something to do with something I did earlier in the code, obviously, but anybody want to take a shot? Okay, it's just this. I separated out the last name and the first name, and I added that as a list. So essentially what I have here is like a list of lists, if you want to take a look. So all the names, so essentially I have like, that's a tiny list right there, and another list, and so on. And so that's the entire list I have. It's a list of lists, per se. Oh, I almost forgot. So, I'll propose. Now let's open this thing up. Let's look at this file now. Oh look, there is a CSV file, mod1.grades. Let's take a look. So this one contains like the curved grades, one after the other, and it's all separated by spaces, which is pretty okay. I mean, you could just, instead of taking it as separated by spaces, you could just have like taking it as separated by commas. In fact, that's actually a nice idea. So if I wanted to say this like separated by commas instead of spaces, would I have to write the entire program again? Sorry? And why do you think so? Exactly. That's the thing, that's the beauty of doing this entire thing in the shell. Because I have everything I need to do right before this. So I just open up the file again. And I just rerun my loop. Instead this time, I'm going to separate these things by commas. So comma there, and I'll put them close. So, ta-da! I just changed those last two lines. I mean, I don't change this in the editor, but if I wanted to test out a bunch of things without having to go back to the editor and run the entire program again, that's where the shell comes in. So that's essentially what I'm doing here. Okay, so there's your live demo for today. Okay, and just the last thing for right now is that, I mean, often the shell itself isn't going to help you. So, I mean, the shell can only help you with so many things. I mean, so many things while they're offline. But if you really want to go and check out what exactly Python provides you, there is, well, when you're into the boundaries of despair, that's when you reach for the gods. So just go out to the people who created Python. They're not going to be there, but their documentation is. So this would be a pretty nice place to go to. And so, has anybody here visited this before? So this is the Python 3.6, like whatever version. What version are you guys using, by the way? 3.6? 3.7? 3.6? Sorry? Yeah, so this is essentially the documentation. So anything that you're stuck with at any point of time, if you want to just, I don't know, go through a tutorial, go through a library reference, go through a language reference. Say, for example, expressions. Say, Boolean expressions. That's all here. Or simple statements, assignment statements. Let's say, expressions. Okay. Okay, that's a language reference. Library reference. So if you want to look at built-in functions, you want to see what functions are built in into Python. If you want to see where the constants of Python has, iterators, these things, this is the place to go to. Here's the link, by the way. So, yeah, just if you're stuck with anything, that's the place to go to. And if you want a simple verbal explanation of whatever it is, this site really helps out. So it has tiny, pretty down to words descriptions. So it should be good. So my point is, you don't always have to search for answers. Don't search for answers to the problems that you're trying to solve. Just look for solutions to roadblocks. That's it. So I guess I'm pretty much over time. So sorry about that. I don't just sort of thanks so much, guys, for being patient. I know I said over time a lot, but thanks anyway.
Yeah. Thanks. See you later. It's still recording.
Well, hope you guys enjoyed it. And logging out.